Good morning once again. Now, to guide us on building the right IP ecosystem in academia, we have with us Dr. Anindya Sarkar sir. He's currently the IPR Chair Professor at Nalsar University of Law, Hyderabad. He's engaged in consulting, strategizing, teaching, and training programs in the field of intellectual property management. His last corporate engagement was as AVP and head of IP with Infosys Limited, and was responsible for IP activities of Infosys Limited and its subsidiaries. Sir is a registered patent agent and certified patent valuation analyst, and has a unique distinction of 2 PhDs, one in science and the other in law. During his long professional involvement in IP, he had spearheaded several acquisition programs, both in and out licensing of IP. He takes active participation in patent awareness programs and other programs involving search techniques for patent and commercial information. Additionally, he is a visiting faculty on IP with several law schools and universities. He speaks frequently at several industry forums, conferences, workshops, and has, to his credit, several papers and articles, book chapters in national and international journals, conference books, and over 20 patents. He has been also recipient of various awards in national and international forums. Without further ado, over to Dr. Anindya Sarkar, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll stop my screen sharing. Yes, sir. You can share. You're on mute, sir.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Good morning, everybody. Let me first try to share the screen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. It's been zooming, sir.
So good morning, everybody. Before we start, thank you all, Professor Suraj and all of the involved, for having me here today in this event. So before I start, I would like to wish all of you all the best, good wishes for the World IP Day. We're celebrating IP Day throughout the world on April 26th. IP Day celebration started in 2010, when following a request which was actually made to WIPO by China the previous year. And so after that, April 26th happens to be celebrated as IP Day to encourage innovation, encourage creativity, and so on. Every there is a theme associated with World IP Day. Okay, so this year's theme is IP and youth, innovating for a better future. Now, statistics say that there's about 1.8 billion youth in the world today. When I say youth, it's below 24 years, and about 90% of them are from the developing countries. And so they are a huge potential of untapped energy and the potential, and to some extent, many of them would like to use the IP system in different ways. So let's look at where do we stand in the IP ecosystem in academia today. and what more we can do.
Sorry to interrupt. Anindya sir, can you just reshare again? We are not able to see your screen. Can you please share again?
Okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely correct.
You can see now?
No, sir. It goes blank again. You may slide show. Is it a document or is it a PPT, sir?
It's a PPT.
Okay. You may slide show would help.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Yes, sir. Now it's visible.
Oh, it's visible? Okay. So let's look at where we stand and how we can make it a much more beneficial and meaningful. See, if you look at the IPR, of course, is a part of the legal system. So I thought we'll start with where we stand in the legal system today. We have several national law universities, we have several colleges, more than 80,000 to 1 lakh youngsters take admission in law every year. That's a huge number. And we have more than 20 lakhs freshers available in the market who can really transform the future. So the role of law school is definitely becoming wider and wider. And the ambit of justice is not just winning a case. There are various other facets of it. Okay? And this is controlled by various stakeholders like the UGC, the DPIIT, the NAC, the Bar Council, the law commissions, and the courts. Now, when I say you are a legal student, not all of them are going to practice IP. No? And that's absolutely okay, and all of them shouldn't practice IP. So for those who are interested, many of them move forward, and let's look at the role of IP now in the current trends in IP education. Well, there are some excellent points, there are some good points, and there are a few not so good points as well. Well, IP law is not a compulsory subject in many law universities and law colleges. NLUs have it as a compulsory course, but everything is taught in one semester. It's only a handful of universities that offer specialization at master's level. We have adequate experience in case laws regarding copyright and trademark. However, understanding both copyright and trademark in the digital environment is still emerging and is a bit of a challenge. When it comes to patents, we still have a high reliance on foreign case laws, and because we have an inadequate pool of case laws in India. Trade secrets, GI, integrated circuit, plan varieties are new to many. The greatest challenge is not starting a course. Setting a syllabus is easy, but finding a teacher in IB still remains a challenge. That's about, at the graduate level, at the first degree level. But if you go further down, there's no compulsory component of IP in higher education and also in the science courses. The trend which was earlier, publish or perish, is now patent, publish or prosper. But when you say patent, publish or prosper, surprisingly, we do not have a formal learning to prosper. IP needs to be a joint venture between science, technology, law, and management. There needs to be an interface between science, technology, law, and management, as I was mentioning earlier, and an active coordination among these different domains so that some meaningful output comes out and which can be utilized. The DPIIT, IPR chairs are addressing and can address these issues solely or in partnership. Law schools can introduce IP management and technical components, whereas technical schools can also look into introduction of a few IP matters. Now, what's the current trend in IP training? Now, this is a very, very interesting situation because we have had more seminars in the past 10 years than in the last 10 decades on IP. Now, if you look at these seminars or sometime conferences, they are mostly repetitive and general talk shows. It does not impart a skill set which is lacking, which needs to be built. Similarly, there's a need for adequate training modules, need for segmentation of target groups, which pharma, biotech, engineering, ICT, and so on and so forth. There is also a need to train the legal practitioners who have missed the bus. By saying missed the bus, who could not get into the developments of IP. At this point, I would also like to mention some of the steps which have been taken by the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court has started a bench with two judges, and which will address and look into only IP cases. And it has just been a few weeks they have started functioning, and it has already gathered a lot of applause, and they're doing a great job. Maybe Delhi High Court can show us the path, and other high courts can really pick it up and inculcate the same needs and functions of the IP litigations which are pending. Surprisingly, the action of the Delhi High Court started because IPEB was abolished, and there were a lot of pending cases which were now transferred to the High Court. Similarly, legislators and other officials also need to be sensitized. And, as I say, DPIIT chairs are doing many of those focus trainings so that we get a meaningful message being transmitted, which can be used in a conclusive manner. And in this process, you need to have an active participation of the actual practitioners, academia, and industry experts all put together. So if I say, are there gaps in the IP academia ecosystem? There are gaps, definitely. And it's not a blame game, okay? You don't blame the university, teachers, student, curriculum, blame everything around us. No, it's not a blame game. So what are some of the gaps? I strongly believe that motivation can never be instilled from outside. It has to come from the academic system. Maybe academic system needs to more focus. Marks and attendance. There are few students who are willing to go much beyond this. In some cases, the system has failed the students. We cannot really have a dictatorship in the name of discipline. Shortcuts, and loads of shortcuts. Cut, copy, paste, and Google have ruined the meaning of research project in many cases. And of course, there's a lack of research culture in IP in India. We need to close the gap between the book and the practice. These are some of the gaps which could be available. And what can we expect from the students? Maybe they can develop some more curiosity and humility to everything around instead of being just slavish to marks and attendance. Focus, at least in the initial days, more on learning rather than earning. Plan their internships appropriately. Focus with the change of technology. At this point, I am forced to remember one of the best quotes of Dr. Kalam, which ex-president. A student can learn more from a mediocre teacher than he can learn from the best teachers. That's what, so we need a larger bandwidth of teachers to bring in more and more aware students. So what do we do at Nalsar? So at Nalsar, there is, of course, it's a law university, so there is teaching. We have graduate level teaching of BLLB honors, where IP, both theory and practice, is a mandatory course. In the 4th semester, we have IPR specialization in postgraduate level in the LLM. There are advanced elective courses which are optional, which are for students who want to take up. Now, these elective courses are taken by both internal guest faculty and industry experts, but you get a credit, so they appear in your mark statement. So we also have doctoral research leading to PhD. Now, if you say what's so great about it, being a university, being a law university, you're supposed to do this. That's your primary job. Okay. The point I'm trying to mention here that there is a lot of focus in IB. Okay. Of course, every law school does a BLLB. Every law school has an LLM. Okay. But we have certain focus and towards IP. Now, we also have some very interesting diploma courses, which are one-year diploma courses, postgraduate diploma in patents law, cyber law, media law, cyber security, and data protection law. Now, over the years, at least some of them has become very, very popular in the sense that the number of students have been increasing. And if you say that it's more than 23 years, some of these courses have been started, diploma courses. So we were very keen and serious about IP training and advocacy from a long time. Now, IP is also a strong component in the curriculum in several other programs, like you have the master's programs in aviation, security, space, maritime law, postgraduate diploma in aviation, transport management, remote sensing, and also a diploma on maritime law. Going forward, the DPIIT chair with the vision and excellence in teaching, research, advocacy, we are doing a lot, or at least trying to do a lot of awareness programs to shape up students, leaders, and practitioners of the domain. Nalsar also has the NC Banerjee Center for IPR Studies, which continuously focuses on contemporary issues and carries out research only in IP. We conduct conference, workshop, webinars, summer schools, IP clinics for students, IP clinic for targeted segments. And even, we do take up courses, electives at other NLUs and institutes. And we're trying to regularize our annual publication, the journal, Indian Journal of Intellectual Property Law. And we continuously carry on doing research in relevant and contemporary issues in IPR, which should result in some good publication. Now, this is regularly what we are doing. So I thought we'll give you a picture of what we actually are doing in Nalsar in this for the IP ecosystem. Thank you very much. If there are some questions, I would love to take it. Are we connected? Can somebody speak?
Yes, sir. Sorry, we got power failure at our university. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Let me ask few questions to you before we go to the conclusion. Sir, what kind of careers can the youth look for in the field of IP? It may be for lawyers or it may be for non-lawyers.
See, basically, when you look in a career for IP, there are three disciplines which somebody would like to be interested. One is being an in-house practitioner, join law firms or have his own law firm, or, join academia. Okay. Now, for lawyers, if you look at it, in most of the, if I keep academia aside, in IP, it is two main streams, that is litigation and prosecution. Prosecution is, the filing and the registering of different forms of IP. For non-lawyers, it is a gold mine. Okay, it's a gold mine because there is a lot of hidden possibilities there, which I'm not saying that lawyers cannot take up. Lawyers can also take up, but if you really look at it, I joined in and I was hearing Dr. Kishore's last few slides. That's patent informatics. Patent informatics by now today has become a profession. There are companies which make that as a business and do only that. So analytics has been there in a large way. Then you have segmented areas like due diligence. You have segmented areas like valuation of IP. You have licensing. You have technology transfer, and finding out opportunities, finding out partners, competitors. Now, many of these situations, because of a higher requirement of scientific and technology understanding, some of the non-lawyers have a great opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Sir, what are the implications of IPR in a research study?
See, implication of an IPR, now that question is very, very broad. If you really look at what are the, see, every research study, it is not that somebody is researching on topics of IPR. Somebody can research in any topic, okay, from automobiles to aircraft engines, and there are some ethics and basics of researches that which are to be followed, and there are some regulations which the IP demands, like respecting the copyrights, etc., for and non-infringement issues. So those are also implications of IP in any research, if you look at it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. My dear friends, let me tell you, being the alumni of Nalsar, Hyderabad, Dr. Anindya Sarkar was one of the mentor who taught us. And so in the context of students, let me ask you, Anindya ji, once again, why IP is so relevant for every student across India as well as across the globe, and how students shall consider and look forward to learn, because you rightly mentioned about patent, prosper, and publish, right? So what message would you like to give your students on today's World IP Day occasion?
See, first of all, Professor Suraj, patent, prosper, that statement was made by a very great man. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mashelkar.
Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar. Yes, sir.
And I'm just using it because it is such an impactful phrase. Now, the point is, you ask me why students should be aware of IP. See, it is very wrong to expect that everybody will practice IP and be in IP. That's not going to happen, and that shouldn't happen also. So those who are going to be in IP need specialized training, okay, depending on which domain they are going in. Okay, and those who are not going to be in IP practice but in other fields, for them it is very, very important to understand and be aware of IP. Okay. Now, today, when we are celebrating many things, there is a huge push towards entrepreneurship, and there are a lot of startups coming up. And it is those areas, these are all by young people, students coming out. They got a research output and they want to commercialize it. Now, all that, the being aware, most of the time, small and mid-sized companies are not aware that they have IP. Then comes a question: what do you see? First, to be conscious about your IP. Second, you think, depending on your business plan, whether you want to register it or you don't want to register it, that's a different business plan. But at least be aware and be conscious of the IP which you have. So it is very, very crucial for everybody to understand the basics. And of course, those who practice has to specialize in this. And in today's world, we cannot, where the technology is changing so fast, we cannot be ignorant about it. Does that answer the question?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we also have participants from startup world as well. What is your message to the new startups? Because they have been passionate to transform their startup into unicorn. How IP is significant to them and how they shall look forward in the domain of IP?
The first thing is, I would say, be conscious of your IP. You should be clear that I own IP or I don't own IP. And then, which doesn't happen because most of the startups, the founders are trying to do almost everything. So they have very little time and priority of IP goes down. Then comes a time of procrastination when you see that you have an IP, what to do with it. Okay. I think they should look for a multi-layer protection of IP and and be aware of what IP is there in their bag and have a business plan whether they would like to protect it which way or the other. Now, I've also noticed that whenever these startups try to raise money, whether it is from a venture capital or an investor or an angel investor or institutes, at a B-level funding, that's a time when the investor starts asking, what IP do you have? And that's the time they become, it's a knee-jerk reaction that I have to look for IP, I have to find. But, considerable time has been gone. And you might have lost rights over some things which you had developed. So the message is that be conscious about what IP you have. That's point number 2. Point number 1 is don't infringe somebody else's IP. Try to see that your functions has a freedom to operate. Build your IP. And then, you can, I can actually quote a wonderful book, which is Edison at the Boardroom. Okay. In that book, they clearly discuss how that first you become, you do not infringe, make sure of that. Second, you file patents. Third, you become a leader in that. Then you integrate your IP function with all other functions of the company. And finally, you become a benchmark. Okay. So it's a good book if somebody wants to read it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Such a wonderful insight. There is one question from Miss Priya. She would like to ask if any university or college design its own faculty evaluation matrix and want to protect it, will it be under patent or copyright if the matrix comprises of numbers and words?
If the matrix is on just text, okay, that's a creation. That is anyway copyrightable. If you convert that to a technology, okay, what I mean by technology is you convert that to a application or an algorithm which runs on a computing system, you might think of a patent, but overall, first thing is it is copyrighted. But any time, see, copyright is self-generated. The moment it is created, you are the owner, copyright owner of that.
Yes. So just to add that, Miss Priya, if it comes under literary work, it shall be protected under copyright. And as Anindyaji mentioned, if there is some outcome, if it transforms into some sort of algorithm or program, then that can be considered for patent. Yeah, hope this answers your question. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, there is one more question from Mr. Srinath. What is the minimum cost for filing IPR? Okay.
Now, that's a very vague question. When you say,
Yes, sir.
see, let me tell you, when you say IPR, it's the costs for patents, trademark, GIs, copyrights are all different. Okay. Now, it depends what you want to file. And remember, I can tell you there is how this pricing breaks. So there is, at the time of filing, you have to pay some filing fee. When it is issued, whether it's a patent or a trademark, you need to pay some issue fee. And to keep it alive, every year you need to pay some renewal fees. Now, these are government fees which are fixed. Of course, today, startups are getting huge discount in this statutory fees. And to do all this, you need lawyers. So you have to pay the lawyers as well, the law firm. That will be your expense. Now, to file a trademark, if you compare, it would be far, far cheaper than filing a patent. Okay. Now, it depends on what kind of IP you want to register.
Thank you, sir. And just to add, Mr. Srinathji, even government has subsidized it by 80%. So you definitely look forward to it. There is one more question from Mr. Devendra. What's your view if government create a separate IPR court, at least one for each state, for better career prospects and career growth? Would you like to add something, sir? Anindya, sir?
See, I assume when you say create a separate court, means that you are saying that every state will have their own IP office. Now, that is a bit difficult. Okay, that is a bit difficult because, of course, for the usage, if there is a demand, there is a requirement of number of cases are rising and the existing 5 offices cannot handle it, probably there is a need. But in today's digital world, where all the filings can be done online, okay, you do not need a physical presence of an office. And if you look at the pendency of in the patent office has come down a lot. So whether the office is in Pune or Mumbai or Bhopal, it does not matter. Most of them are using an online method. And of course, if there is a need, you can ask for increasing manpower of patent office. Location is no longer an issue in today's world. Is that fine?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, again, it's a vague question. Anita ji would like to ask that as a women inventor for patent filing by her own company, is it so that there will be less time for patent grant, and what will be the patent fees reimbursement structure?
There are 3 questions here. As a woman inventor, you do get some incentives. The patent office gives you certain discounts as a woman inventor, and of course, your patent application can be taken up in the fast track mode. So you might be getting a decision of grant or reject much earlier than others. Now, when it comes to reimbursement, there are reimbursement schemes by DST, DBT, TIFAC, NRDC. They have a lot of reimbursement schemes of filing a patent at the time of filing and also at the time of grant. Now, on those reimbursement, they do not distinguish between men and women. So they reimbursement the patent cost, but at the filing and the speed, you can definitely have a certain advantage.
Thank you so much, sir, for your insights. Thank you. There is one more question from Mr. Srinath. Whether patent first or paper publication?
Mr. Srinath, never ever publish before you patent. You will be damaging your own patent application by creating prior art which will be cited against your own patent application. File a patent, get a patent number, application number, a date receipt, then file for, then go for publication in a journal. If you do the reverse, you might get the publication, but you will never get the patent. That's okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Just to add that, Mr. Srinath, for patenting, there are 3 basic criteria, right? Novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. So if you publish it first, you are killing the novelty of your invention. So always go for provisional application first if you are not sure, and then go for publication subsequently. Am I right, Anindya sir?
Ajji, you are perfect. We are in full agreement with you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, for all the answers and insightful keynote session. Thank you. Let me hand it over to Ms. Smruti.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Surat, sir. Thank you, Dr. Anindya Sarkar, sir. That was amazing information, and you have put it in such a simple language and so comprehensively explained. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being with us. The overview on the current trends in IP education was really very interesting, and what students need to focus on to master IP, and how Nalsar University is working towards helping these students is something really great. So thank you so much for taking out your valuable time and addressing our participants today. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to be part of the event. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to more such sessions from you soon. Thank you so much, sir. We will be having our next session now, Rebooting IPR for Digital Framework by Professor Dr. Prabuddha Ganguly, sir. And we will come back now for this session in the next 10 minutes. I request all of you to stay tuned and please be there with us. See you soon.